The New York tri-state area is the center of the coronavirus pandemic in the United States. Dr. Birx urged everyone who is traveling from the New York metro area to self-quarantine for 14 days before exposing themselves to the public to make sure that they prevent the spread of COVID-19. Dr. Fauci also called for this measure to ensure that New York does not act, and I quote, as a seeding point to the rest of the country. So to achieve that goal, today I'm issuing an executive order consistent with the guidance from Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci as it relates to people traveling from the New York tri-state area. Those entering the state of Texas through an airport, either in New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut, will be subject to a mandatory self-quarantine for 14 days or for the duration of their stay in Texas, whichever is shorter. In our conversation today with Dr. Birx, we also discussed the dramatic increase in the number of COVID-19 cases in Louisiana and especially New Orleans. At that time, Dr. Birx mentioned it would also be helpful to have a similar quarantine advisory for people traveling from New Orleans. So this executive order that applies to the tri-state area around Metro New York also applies to the city of New Orleans and people flying from the city of New Orleans into the state of Texas. The process works this way. It'll be run and enforced by the Texas Department of Public Safety. Those entering Texas from the areas designated in the executive order will use a form from the Department of Public Safety to designate their quarantine location, whether it's at a hotel or a residence or some other location, and they will also have to provide some other specific identifying information that is on the form provided by the Texas Department of Public Safety. The Department of Public Safety troopers will conduct visits to those designated quarantine locations to verify compliance with this executive order. Failure to comply with this order is considered to be a criminal offense that is punishable by up to a $1,000 fine or 180 days in jail, or both. During the quarantine period, the person shall not allow visitors into or out of the designated quarantine location other than a physician or healthcare provider, and shall not visit public spaces. This is intended simply to achieve the goals that have been articulated by the CDC and by the White House organization focused on reducing the spread of the coronavirus in the United States, and that is using every strategy possible to reduce the spread. So in addition to all this, we know we have more work ahead of us as we combat the spread of COVID-19 in Texas, and we know that everybody in the state of Texas is up to that task. We are ramping up and increasing the amount of testing that we're conducting. We are maximizing our hospital space as well as staffing for medical facilities, as well as working to increase supply capabilities. We have a tremendous supply chain operation underway right now that's reaching out every single day to increase the amount of supplies that we desperately need, such as accessing personal protection equipment, masks, gloves, and other medical equipment. And also we are working every single day to slow the spread of COVID-19 in Texas.